This is AI.R. Artists in Residence Broadcasting, coming to you once a week from New York City. Hello, I'm John Cullum, and this is Emily Frankel.
And John just told me to smile, so I'm giving you a big smile. Today we want to do a discussion. Instead of me writing this as a post for my blog, M's Talk Radio, we're going to talk about the ugly truth about beauty.
Well, that's a contradiction in terms.
Well, we normally would say the important thing about a person is his character, his intelligence, his education, and his generosity.
Yes.
Well, not anymore.
What?
It seems as if the most important thing these days is, what do you look like? Studies at Harvard and MIT have said that beauty is hardwired into our brains. They've used magnetic resonance, or MRIs, to show that seeing pictures of a beautiful woman creates the same change in the man's brain, or a brain, as the sight of food.
You mean his mouth begins to water when he looks at a good-looking woman?
Well, we're talking about magnetic resonance, so we're not looking at the mouth watering.
Yeah, well, they're using these scientific methods to prove stuff that I don't think is necessarily is correct.
Well, that's what the tests have been done to show. There's an article about this in Newsweek. There's an article on ABC did a whole show hiring actors, handsome ones and less handsome ones, and showing that the good-looking people got the jobs, got the fundraising, got much more attention.
Right.
And 2020 did the same thing.
Right.
So we have to say that something is going on with looking good.
Well, there's no question about it. I mean, it's always been true that people who make themselves more attractive do better at
Does it help you
interviews.
when you go to jobs, when you go to auditions, that you're a good-looking guy?
Well, now you see, I automatically reacted when you said good looking. I thought, oh, she thinks I'm good looking. And I felt very proud.
You are good looking. You're the most beautiful man I ever saw.
Oh, well, you have a very decided bias when it comes to my
Yes,
looks.
I do.
Yes.
I do.
Well, I have the same thing about you.
Okay.
That's good. But people who are beautiful almost always get better attention quicker, and but it doesn't necessarily mean that they get the job.
No, it doesn't.
Or hold on to the job.
It doesn't mean that at all. There's a whole bunch of actors in movies, like Richard Burton, who were not beautiful, were not tall, but had charisma and charm, and they made it.
And because of their talent.
Well, take Dustin Hoffman.
Well, there's a very good example. Dustin was not what you call a pretty boy at all, but he has created a body of work in film and on stage that proves that he's one of the most successful actors in the country, of this generation. And but even if you take somebody like Paul Newman or Robert Redford, they're obviously known for their good looks, but they would never have lasted as long as they did if it hadn't been for their talent.
Well, apparently the way you look is now become the way to go and get a job. That when you're preparing to go for a job interview, you should dress well, you should fix your face up as best as possible, do anything you can to look younger, because older people don't get the jobs as much as younger people, and the well-dressed and the pretty people are the ones that are hired.
Yeah, well, that's interesting. From my point of view, the intelligent entrepreneur would begin to look for people that he could get for their talent and get at a bargain, particularly in our economy today.
Boy, I remember my first audition.
Oh, my Lord. You have to tell that story.
Ooh.
That's a funny story.
I wore double falsies. I had a bosom. And I wore French cut tights, pants, cut up to here, so my legs went from here to there.
Well, now you did all this. You didn't do this in order to look ugly.
No, I did this to get a job. It was the first time I'd been to an audition, and they gave me a number, and with 150 girls,
and you wanted to appear more attractive and more beautiful.
Well, nobody called my number.
Oh.
So I went home feeling very depressed about it and decided I would never again go and audition for anything, and I never did.
What did you do?
I made a dance company.
Well, there you go.
And hired myself as the star.
That's right. And you gave yourself employment for a lifetime that was a wonderfully exciting and creative existence as an artist.
Well, anyway, this is called this lookism, is the new word that's being written about, lookism. And lookism is like sexism and racism. And the question would be, should there be, the Department of Labor make laws? Should there be protection for people who are job hunting so that lookism isn't the standard by which they are hired? I don't like the idea of more laws, even though lookism is a little creepy. But that's what I wanted to write in my M's Talk Read. I wanted to discuss this in my blog.
And you've done very well, and I think it's a good subject to bring up. But I will never deny that I am attracted to you because of your looks. And I'm going to give you a kiss to prove it.
Wait a minute.
What?
I think you're just still the most beautiful man I ever saw.
Emily, well, let them be the judge.
Be the judge.
Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you again next weekend on Air Broadcasting. This is AI.R. See you next week.